All right. Perfect. Let me see if you can see it from your YouTube. All right. Let's go ahead. Share my screen. All right. Perfect. Let me see if you can see it from your YouTube. Oh, how I do this? Okay, boom. There you go. All right. Do you all hear any echo on my end? Do you hear any echo? No, we're good now. Okay, perfect. Yep, I can see it from YouTube. Awesome. So let's go ahead and record this. What's going on, YouTube? And let's get this party started.
Honorable conduct. Our book club thrives on respect, trust, and ethical behavior. We foster an environment where everyone's voice is heard and valued. Together, we engage in thoughtful discussions, ask insightful questions, and challenge our assumptions, all the while treating each other with kindness and empathy. Welcome to the HighLife experience.
Yes, welcome back to Higher Learning HighLife Book Club. My name is Tramika.
And I am Mr. HighLife Films. What's going on, beautiful people?
Yes, happy today's Wednesday. So happy Wednesday to everyone, and hope everyone is having a wonderful day. We do these live book reads every Monday through Friday at 12 noon. We call this lunchtime read, and we are currently reading Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So if you would like to sign up to be a reader, there's slots available all this week and next week as well. So come sign up with us. Come read with us. This is a judgment-free zone, which means that we are here to learn, grow, and continue to achieve success through networking. So with that being said, if you are in YouTube, if you are in Facebook, make sure that you guys do tune in with us on Zoom, and I'll be putting the link below. Oh, yes. And today's readers are myself and Miss Tony, by the way. All right. So this live book read is brought to you by HighLife Property Solutions, which is a real estate investment company here in the Jacksonville area where we buy and we sell houses. We also broker a life insurance agency where we help families and businesses protect their assets through life insurance and different retirement strategies. So if you're interested in any of the following services, make sure that you do reach out to us and we'll take care of you. That's term life insurance and permanent life insurance.
Nice. Yes. And this live book read is brought to you by HighLife Films and Photography, the #1 real estate photography company here in Jacksonville, Florida, where we specialize in listing photos, investment photos, 3D virtual tours, aerial photos, and everything real estate content creation related. So if you're a realtor, a broker, a course creator, or you just need some more content to get you some more clients, definitely hit us up. You can check out some of our work at www.comejointhehighlife.com. Come join the HighLife.
That's right. And this live book read is also brought to you by Studio 202, which was established to unite creatives and provide entrepreneurs the ability to collaborate and align within the Jacksonville community. Studio 202 exists to create impact while changing the narrative on how they develop, promote, and network in business. So if you're in the Jacksonville area, you're looking to host any events, you're looking to host any celebration, any parties, make sure that you do get with Studio 202, and I will be putting the information below.
Yes, well. All right, we got the official book of the Higher Learning HighLife Book Club available. It's called HighLife 8 Keys to Living an Abundant Life by George Varner. You definitely can get your copy at www.highlifestateofmind.com. All right. We got those Higher Learning HighLife Book Club shirts available in 22 different colors. We got the Put Some Respect on Your Mind shirt, the Don't Hate Me Because I'm High shirt, the HighLife brand shirt. We got some special edition stuff on there. So all you gotta do is scan that QR code. It'll take you right to the website, don'thatemebecauseI'mhigh.com. Fill up your cart, and just because you guys are in the book club, if you put in the promo code Book Club, you get 15% off your order. Or if you put in the promo code Bookworm, you get completely free shipping. All right, so get your gear today. All right. We are also accepting sponsors. What we say, this live book read is brought to you by Answer Your Business Here. We talk about your business, how amazing it is, and the value that you're bringing to the marketplace and why people need to patronize you. If that's something that you're interested in, definitely the link for that will be in the chat as well as in the group. Also, we're accepting donations for our Higher Learning HighLife Book Club Scholarship Fund. If that's something that you're interested in to donate to, then the link for that will be in the chat as well as in the group. And also looking for a recipient. So if you know someone that would be a great recipient, they can fill out the link as well. So
That's right.
all right. Word of the day. Word of the day. The word is pittance. Pittance. So that's a noun originated from Latin, and the definition is a very small or inadequate amount of money paid to someone as an allowance or wage. I ain't gonna lie, I do give my kids a pittance. They don't get a big, they get a pittance. So, so definitely use it in a sentence, share it in the group, get creative with your sentences. You can also share it on your personal page or your story and just tag the Higher Learning HighLife Book Club, and we're gonna repost that thing. All right. So word of the day, pittance.
Yes, yes. And I see we got a couple people in YouTube. What's going on, y'all? I just posted a link to Zoom if you want to join us in Zoom. That way, if you want to give your takeaways as we read today's read, Outwitting the Devil, then you are able to come in and chill out with us. Lunchtime read. So put some respect on your mind. If you have any quotes, any wisdom, any wins that you would like to share, put some respect on your mind. I see we got Keisha, Chris, Mr. Owens, everyone in YouTube. The only thing about YouTube is I can't see who's actually in YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah. Awesome.
Hey, so that's the win of the day right there. We live on YouTube, y'all.
Yep.
We're doing something different. So, I've been wanting to have a book club on YouTube, but when you're reading books, it's kind of sketchy with doing the live recordings. So this book is actually what is it called? It's been out. It's over
100 years.
Got 100 years. Is it been 100 years?
Oh
yeah, it's been.
Have it been 100 years?
No, he wrote not been 100 years, but with the rights, copyrights laws, and all that stuff, so you can do live readings of it.
So it's in the public domain, kind of this HighLife.
Yeah, public domain. So perfect.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm excited about being on YouTube for the first time.
But you guys sound as if you prefer Facebook. But is there preference to Facebook over YouTube, because that's been the way you've been doing it before, right? Is there a preference?
Everyone we know pretty much is on Facebook or Instagram. So YouTube, I don't really have that big of a following on YouTube. So, but I guess we're finna work it out now.
Well, I wouldn't say that because we're monetized on YouTube. We have over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I mean, we're building.
Yeah, it's working. We're gonna see what to do.
And YouTube is good to reaching out to people who you don't know, just the general population.
Facts.
Yes, absolutely.
Everything out for a reason. Ooh, I like that shirt.
Well, I was just about to say that.
You better come.
You got to take a picture and post it today.
Yes. She modeling that thing. Okay. Coming to the stage.
Awesome.
HighLife gear. That's what I'm talking about.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Like I said, I'm happy about being on YouTube. It's something new, something different. I'm always excited about this book because I love this book so much. So any day when I'm reading Outwitting the Devil is a good day.
Absolutely. I need a hot toddy. That's what I need. Definitely.
And that's how we're going to introduce everyone on YouTube to Miss Tramika Hawkins. She needs a hot toddy. Welcome.
Well, I'm saying
she cares about her wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the winter time, and in Jacksonville, I mean, when you go outside and it's 33 degrees outside, and you used to a 78 degrees, so it kind of, the weather is shifting, and I got sea moss in my system. However, something trying to come over me, and we ain't letting that happen. So my hot toddy gonna come in place to make sure everything is in place.
Good afternoon, everyone. Finally, I'm on Zoom. I don't know what was going on, but the link was not allowing me to connect.
Welcome.
So I do have our quota today, and I love this one. I'm pretty sure Mr. HighLife will love it. I know he liked it in the group. It says, "Learning without wisdom is a load of books on a donkey's back," and that's by Zora Neale Hurston. Moses, Man of the Mountain. And if I'm pretty sure you all know, there is a festival that is done in Eatonville, Florida, which is right outside of Orlando, and it's something that for Zora that commemorates Zora Neale Hurston because she did a lot of her writings in Eatonville.
Mm. And say that quote one more time.
Learning without wisdom is a load of books on a donkey's back.
Just called yourself a whole donkey out in these streets.
And then I have a little something for our Wellness Wednesday. I got my cousin sent me this early this morning, one of my younger cousins, and it says eating the standard American diet will give you the American waistline, land you in an American hospital, taking American prescriptions that you paid for with American health insurance to wind up in an American nursing home. Break free by taking control of your health.
Hey, Miss Tony, I'm glad you said what you said, because guess what standard American diet, that's what that abbreviation is.
What is it?
SAD.
Yes. You will be sad. Your whole body will be sad.
You told me that because somebody else, Miss Claudia's man had told me he's big on health, and he was saying that the standard American diet will, like you said, it will lead you where you don't want to go. But he was like, he said the best diet is the OMAD diet, is 1 meal a day. But he didn't even call it a diet. He just said that's the best way to eat, because you gotta think back in the times we didn't have like grocery stores, and when we ate for supplements,
necessity.
For necessity. We didn't eat just cause
for sustenance. Exactly.
As my son eats some chips right now, so we, you know what I'm saying. So
and honestly, that is how I eat right now, 1 meal a day. So I'll drink water most of the day, and I don't eat until I go home. So from last night till yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening till right now, till I leave here at 2 o'clock, I've not eaten anything. I've just been drinking water, and I've noticed that I have been losing some inches doing that.
Nice. Okay. Miss Tony already. Miss Tony, listen.
Well, I have a goal for the summertime, and my children pretty much think that I've lost my mind. But my goal is to be back in a bikini on a beach somewhere.
Jamaica.
And, can't get it out my mouth fast enough.
and I'm 57, but I'ma still wear a bikini, so I can't wear it no more. And then in order for me to do that, I have to keep myself in shape.
May I digress from that for a second, even though that's a tough one to follow, Miss Tony?
I was just going to say, how can you follow the bikini?
I know. I'm going to give it a shot, though, Mr. HighLife. I'm going to come short. I'm going to give it my best shot. But I want to come back to the Zora Neale Hurston situation real quick. Big fan of hers. Some sad things happened to her back, by the way. Her last days, she died in poverty. That when they buried her, she didn't have a tombstone or a headstone. They couldn't afford it. And by the way, this might not interest you, but you can relate to this better than any one of us, is the fact that at her death, they had to collect money, like a GoFundMe back in the day, to bury her. And that's why I didn't have enough funds to take her of a tombstone. It was Alice Walker from the Color Purple fame who got together and said, 1973, we have to do something about this. And a tombstone is now established right where she's assumed to be buried. I'm not even sure that's where she is, but that area is a cemetery where her body or her remains are now, and have a tombstone there. It's a vertical tombstone, so it stands out, which makes sense. in memory of her and big ups. But this woman became really famous, sadly, after the fact, because her book is a monster classic. Their Eyes Were Watching God. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. I think it's Halle Berry who starred that. I believe so. She wrote it. You know, she was accomplished, but at that time when she was famous, she was only critically famous, not commercially famous. Now she's commercially famous. And my question is this, though. I wonder if her royalties go to anybody or what happened to that. But to be continued.
We can't hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now? Okay, perfect. Yeah, goodness gracious, what did I just say? That's I mean, very interesting on what you just said. And we're actually going to hit on that in a few in the read today in regards to legends being legends after they pass away. So man, love this, put some respect on your mind. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get into the read, y'all. I love what Keisha said, too. Keisha said HighLife or book club cruise next year. Hey, you might be on to something, Keisha. You may be on to something.
But Natalia going to have her bikini on. I'm coming with no shirt.
Six-pack alley.
Okay. Gang, gang.
Love it. All right. So we are starting on chapter one. And we are reading Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Chapter 1, the first meeting with Andrew Carnegie. For more than a quarter of a century, my major purpose has been that of isolating and organizing into a philosophy of achievement the causes of both failure and success, with the object of being helpful to others who have neither the inclination nor the opportunity to engage in this form of research. My labor began in 1908 as the result of an interview that I had with the late Andrew Carnegie. I frankly told Mr. Carnegie that I wished to enter law school and that I had conceived the idea of paying my way through school by interviewing successful men and women, finding out how they came by their success, and writing stories of my discoveries for magazines. At the end of our first visit, Mr. Carnegie asked whether or not I possessed enough courage to carry out a suggestion he wished to offer me. I replied that courage was about all I did have, and that I was prepared to do my best to carry out any suggestion he cared to offer. He then said, "Your idea of writing stories about men and women who are successful is commendable as far as it goes, and I have no intentions of trying to discourage you from carrying out your purpose. But I must tell you that if you wish to be an enduring service, not only to those now living, but to posterity as well, you can do so if you would take the time to organize all of the causes of failure as well as all of the causes of success. There are millions of people in the world who have not the slightest conception of the causes of success and failure. The schools and colleges teach practically everything except the principles of individual achievement. They require young men and women to spend from 4 to 8 years acquiring abstract knowledge, but do not teach them what to do with this knowledge after they get it. The world is in need of a practical, understandable philosophy of achievement, organized from the factual knowledge gained from the experience of men and women in the great university of life. In the entire field of philosophy, I found nothing which even remotely resembled the sort of philosophy which I have in mind. We have few philosophies who are capable of teaching men and women the art of living. It seems to me that here is an opportunity which should challenge an ambitious young man of your type, but ambitious alone is not enough for this task which I have suggested. The one who undertakes it must have courage and tenacity. The job will require at least 20 years of continuous effort, during which the one who undertakes it will have to earn his living from some other source, because this sort of research is never profitable at the outset. And generally, those who have contributed to civilization through work of this nature have had to wait 100 years or so after their own funerals to receive recognition for their labor. Note to readers by Sharon Letcher. 20 years of labor with no pay and possibly no recognition? How would you respond to this offer? As he discussed below, Hill accepted Carnegie's challenge and, with a letter of introduction from Carnegie, set about interviewing the giants of that time, including Theodore Roosevelt, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford, Alexander Graham Bell, King Gillette, founder of the Gillette, founder of the Gillette Safety Razor Company, and many others. His effort ultimately culminated in the publication of several books, including the 8-volume Law of Success and Think and Grow Rich after more than 25 years of research. Think and Grow Rich is widely recognized as the seminal work in self-development, introducing essentially all the principles that continue to serve as the foundation for the teaching of the personal development gurus of today. As reflected in Hill's own description, the process of developing and publishing Think and Grow Rich was itself a study in the principles he revealed. It may be telling that the manuscript of Outwitting the Devil was written the year after Think and Grow Rich was published, since this work may reveal the frustration and revelation of Hill's other self and how he conquered his frustration and succeeded in using the very principles he described in Think and Grow Rich. Outwitting the Devil will reveal Hill's spiritual awakening and how each of us can learn from his encounter with the devil. If you undertake this job, you should interview not only the few who have succeeded, but the many who have failed. You should carefully analyze many thousands of people who have been classed as failures. And I mean by the term failures, men and women who come to the closing chapters of life disappointment because they did not obtain the goal which they had set their hearts upon achieving. As inconsistent as it may seem, you will learn more about how to succeed from the failures than you will from the so-called successes. They will teach you what not to do. Along towards the end of your labor, if you carry it through successfully, you will make a discovery which may be a great surprise to you. You will discover that the cause of success is not something separate and apart from the man, that it is a force so intangible in nature that the majority of men never recognize it, a force which might be properly called the other self. Noteworthy is the fact that this other self seldom exerts its influence or makes itself known, excepting at times of unusual emergency. When men are forced through adversity and temporarily defeat to change their habit and to think their way out of difficulties. My experience has taught me that a man is never quite so near success as when that which he calls failure has overtaken him. For it is on occasion of this sort that he is forced to think. If he thinks accurately and with persistence, he discovers that so-called failure usually is nothing more than a signal to rearm himself with a new path or purpose. Most real failures are due to limitations which men set out in their own minds. If they had the courage to go one step farther, they would discover the errors. Most real failures are due to limitations which men set up in their own minds. A negative mindset and self-doubt can be the primary obstacle to success. With the current economic downturn, far too many people who have all their life done everything right are now, for the first time, facing severe economic adversity. The greatest barrier to this recovery is their own fear and self-doubt instilled by their recent experience. Have you allowed the current economic downturn to take over you? Have self-doubt and self-sabotage held you back from reaching your goals? Are you your own worst enemy? And Think and Grow Rich, Hill told the story of R.U. Darby, a gold prospector, frustrated when a rich vein of gold apparently ran out. Darby sold his gold claim for a pittance to the town junkman. The junkman brought in the right expert advisor and found that Darby would have rediscovered the vein had he moved his digging by a mere 3 feet. Had Darby persevered, he would have made his fortune, but he gave up and abandoned his dreams when he was only 3 feet from gold. Rather than being crushed by his error, Darby learned from his experience and went on to build an insurance empire. Will you abandon your quest just before reaching great success when you are only 3 feet from gold? You can read how many of today's icons persevered through difficult situations in the book, 3 Feet from Gold.
Begin life anew. Mr. Carnegie's speech reshaped my entire life and planted in my mind a burning purpose, which has driven me ceaselessly, and this despite the fact that I had but a vague idea as to what he meant by the term other self. During my labor of research into the causes of failure and success, I have had the privilege of analyzing more than 25,000 men and women who were rated as failures and over 500 who were classed as successful. Many years ago, I caught my first glimpse of that other self Mr. Carnegie had mentioned. This discovery came, as he said it would, as a result of two major turning points in my life, of which constituted emergencies that forced me to think my way out of difficulties such as I had never before experienced. I wished it were possible to describe this discovery without the use of the personal pronoun, but this is impossible because it came through personal experiences from which it cannot be separated. To give you the complete picture, I shall have to go back to the first of these two major turning points and bring you up to the discovery step by step. The research necessary for the accumulation of the data from which the 17 principles of achievement and the 30 major causes of failure were organized required years of labor. I had reached the false conclusion that my task of organizing a complete philosophy of personal achievement had been completed. Far from having been completed, my work had merely begun. I had erected the skeleton of a philosophy by organizing the 17 principles of achievement and 30 major causes of failure. But that skeleton had to be covered with the flesh of application and experience. Moreover, it had been given a soul through which it might inspire men and women to meet obstacles without going down under them. The soul, which had not yet been added, as I've discovered later, became available only after my other self made its appearance through two major turning points of my life. Revolving to my attention, and whatever talents I might possess into monetary returns through business and professional channels, I decided to go into the profession of advertising, and I became the advertising manager of the LaSalle Extension University of Chicago. Everything went along beautifully for 1 year, at the end of which I was seized by a violent dislike for my job and resigned. I then entered the chain store business with the former president of the LaSalle Extension University and became the president of the Betsy Ross Candy Company. Unfortunate, or what seemed to me at the time to be unfortunate, disagreements with business associates disengaged me from that undertaking. The lure of advertising was still in my blood, and I tried to give expression to it by organizing a school of advertising and salesmanship as part of Bryant and Stratton Business College. The enterprise was sailing smoothly, and we were making money rapidly when the United States entered World War One. In response to an inner urge which no words can describe, I walked away from the school and entered the service of the United States government under President Woodrow Wilson's personal direction, leaving a perfectly sound business to disintegrate. On Armistice Day, 1918, I began the publication of the Golden Rule magazine. Despite the fact that I did not have a penny of capital, the magazine grew rapidly and soon gained a nationwide circulation of nearly half a million, ending its first year's business with a profit of $3,156. For a proper perspective, $3,156 in 1918 would represent $45,000 today based on the Consumer Price Index average for each year compiled by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and $202,000 using the nominal GDP per capita table. Not a bad profit for a first year in the magazine business. When 80 to 90% of new titles fail, even the successful ones take 2 or 3 years to become profitable. And that would be www.magazinepublisher.com /startup.html. Some years later, I learned from the experienced publisher that no man experienced in the publication and distribution of national magazines would think of starting such a magazine with less than $500,000 of capital. The Golden Rule magazine and I were destined to part company. The more we succeeded, the more discontented I became, until finally, due to an accumulation of petty annoyances caused by business associates, I made them a present. I made them a present of the magazine and stepped out. Through that through that move, perhaps I tossed a small fortune over my shoulder. This was only the beginning of Hill's love for magazines. The Golden Rule was followed by his publication of the Napoleon Hill magazine. Later in life, he became the editor of Success, a magazine that is still published today. Next, I organized a training school for salesmen. My first assignment was to train a sales army of 3,000 people for a chain store company, for which I received $10 for each salesman who went through my class. Within 6 months, my work had netted me a little over $30,000. Success, as far as money was concerned, was crowning my efforts with abundance. Again, I became fidgety inside. I was not happy. It became more obvious every day that no amount of money would ever make me happy. Without the slightest reasonable excuse for my actions, I stepped out and gave up a business from which I might easily have earned a healthy salary. My friends and business associates thought I was crazy, and they were not backward about saying so. Frankly, I was inclined to agree with them, but There seemed nothing I could do about it. I was seeking happiness and I had not found it. At least that is only at least that is the only explanation I could offer for my unusual actions. What man really knows himself? Again, I became fidgety inside. I was not happy. It became more obvious every day that no amount of money would ever make me happy. I could have written this about myself a few years ago, but when I took action by leaving that situation, although financially rewarding, was no longer aligned with my personal mission. New doors of opportunity opened for me. It turned out to be the best decision of my professional life. Can you think of a time in your life when you made a difficult decision, but you knew it was the right one even when others questioned it? That was during the late fall of 1923. I found myself stranded in Columbus, Ohio, without funds, and worse still, without a plan by which to work my way out of my difficulty. It was the first time in my life that I had actually been stranded because of lack of funds. Many times previously, I had found money to be rather shy, but never before had I failed to get what I needed for my personal conveniences. The experience stunned me. I seemed totally at sea as to what I could or should do. I thought of a dozen plans by which I might resolve my problem, but dismissed them all as being either impractical or impossible to achieve. I felt like one who was lost in a jungle without a compass. Every attempt I made to work my way out brought me back to the original starting point. For nearly 2 months, I suffered with the worst of all human ailments, indecision. I knew the 17 principles of personal achievement, but what I didn't know was how to apply them. Without knowing it, I was facing one of those emergencies of life through which Mr. Carnegie had told me men sometimes discover about their other selves. My distress was so great that it never occurred to me to sit down and analyze its cause and seek its cure. The worst ailment, the worst of all human ailments, indecision. Have you ever felt paralyzed by indecision? This was the first major turning point in Napoleon Hill's life. His moving from job to job, seeking contentment, and his own ideal professional life sounds like many people today. People who are seeking contentment in their jobs and lives. Hill's predicament was, by his own admission, self-inflicted. However, he found himself in very much the same circumstances as someone today who has been negatively affected by the present economic situation. Hill took advantage of his temporary defeat, using it as a spur to force himself into thought and analysis to find his other self. If you have dealt if if you have been dealt a blow by economic circumstances, you too can use it as a lever to motivation to find your other self. And that is the read of the day.
Mm, that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you so much, Miss
That's
Tom.
you're welcome. That's a lot. That was a lot to digest.
Yes.
He came through. He came through with the come through.
If you are on YouTube, you can go ahead and you can put your takeaways. Let me stop right here. You can put your takeaways in the comments. Let us know how you guys feel about this read. Even if you're watching the playback as well, or the replays, let us know how you feel about this read today. So if you are in Zoom and you have any takeaways, you guys can go ahead and raise your hand. And
what about him going on that mission? So then,
you know what, he had to really be dedicated. He had to be selfless. He had to really be, that was his life purpose, because he wasn't getting paid for it. Like,
and you know who told him that?
Andrew Carnegie,
a super rich man. I'm talking about stupid rich. I'm talking about Andrew Carnegie was so rich back then. He was writing the different presidents for them to be in competition for his money. Like he was real. He wrote a letter. Where's my book at? I got Andrew Carnegie book right here too. And talk about his life. He said he wrote a book. This was in 1908. You know, while he was doing he had that meeting with in 1908 when he had that meeting with Napoleon Hill. This same year, he wrote to some of the presidents. I forgot how many of them was. He said, "Dear friend," he wrote, "if you have any spare time at your command, would you kindly give me an answer to this question? If you had, say, 5 or 10 millions of dollars to put to the best use possible, what would you do with it? And the prize will be given to the best answer." He ain't got nothing else to do but give away his money. You hear me? So you gonna tell you got all this money and you gonna tell me go work for free. What?
What did you do?
What?
How did he earn his money?
A lot of different stuff. He had trust. He had it going on. Andrew Carnegie had it going on. So he was like he paid 50 million on libraries for colleges. Like he was the man pretty much. When in that time of he was at that time he was 72. So he was 72 in 1908. So yeah, he only did his thing. You know what I'm saying? And he was, you know, the fruits of his labors was coming up. But for me to sit down, and it's just cool that Napoleon, it like successfully clues, right? So if I'm hanging around this one dude and I get to go talk to him for a few hours and ask him what I need to ask him, he tell me to go interview 20, I forgot how many people he said, 20,000 people, how many he said in the book?
Yeah, he said
go interview a lot of successful people and then come back and let me know how that go. He never made it to come back. He never went back to go tell them. But look what it sent him on. Now we read, it's 2023, about to be 24, and we read in his book that he was real, as you can see, he was real deal in his thoughts. And that's why I love this book, because it goes to show you, like, even as an entrepreneur, sometimes we be in our thoughts. And if you call it whatever you want to, the devil, God, whoever in your thoughts, it's a whole lot of thoughts going on, positive and negative. And for him to be able to write that down as an author, it kind of like super inspires me, because like this is dope to me to let us know all the stuff that you were going through in 1908 as you have this conversation with Andrew Carnegie, and you don't wrote about it in 1930. It's 30 years later. He's thinking about this. So that's like dedication to a whole nother level. When you think you're doing something for a year and your business ain't working out yet. I'll laugh at that now. I'm like, I gotta get that old healthy laugh. Like really, because literally you ain't doing nothing, man. Put in that time and watch your stuff, watch it work out. And all it's doing, it worked on him. So I love how he just.
And the fact that, you know, he said the job will require at least 20 years of continuous effort, during which the one who undertakes it will have to earn his living from other sources, because this sort of research is never profitable at the outset. And generally, those who have contributed to civilization through work of this nature have had to wait 100 years or so after their own funeral to receive recognition for their labor. Which means that you got to be passionate. If you really want to do this, it's something that you have to be passionate about. This really have to be like your life purpose.
What got revealed to him while he was doing all this?
Everything, because
what he said, his other self.
His other self, yeah.
Because when the shit get ugly, it's like my other self needs to tap in, and I got to come up with some damn ideas. How I'm gonna get this money when I ain't making no money doing this? What else I gotta do?
It goes to that H in HighLife. Hustler. Yeah, you gotta be able to hustle. But I see Miss Tunny has her hand up. Go ahead, Miss Tunny.
I love this book.
I just wanted to give a comment really quickly before it's time for me to go. He just blew me with. He just went from job to job to job. Was not content. It wasn't even about the money. He just wasn't content in what he was finding, and he was a man who was already enlightened about the world that would be happening right now back then. Because I see a lot of this that we just read that goes on right now today. But one thing I wanted to see if any of you all knew, I'm pretty sure Mr. Owen knows this. Um, he mentioned, well, in Sharon Lecter, she mentioned on page 3, um, when the where it says 20 years of labor with no pay and possibly no recognition. How would you respond to this offer? As he discusses below, Hill accepted Carnegie's challenge, and with a letter of introduction from Carnegie, set about interviewing the giants of that time: Theodore Roosevelt, Thomas Edison,
Mhm.
John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford, Alexander Bell Graham, King Gillette, and I don't know about Gillette. I'm sure most people that's my age and above know about
Yeah,
Gillette.
yeah.
But but
But
something about John D. Rockefeller, that like I said, I'm pretty sure Mr. Owen know it. I just found this out last week. John D. Rockefeller's wife, Spelman College was named for her, and I never knew that. And it's a HBCU.
mm, what's her name?
Her
Rockefeller.
name, Laura Spelman Rockefeller, I believe it is.
Oh,
Morehouse
And
too.
that college, huh?
Morehouse too.
Yes, and that college was named for her, but it's a HBCU, and it's a HBCU because both John D. Rockefeller and his wife were anti-slavery.
Hmm.
okay.
I learned that earlier this week, and I was truly blown. I had to go research it again myself, but it just goes to show all of these people back then and all of this wealth that they had, and here's Napoleon Hill just running around here for pennies, trying to make it, and his work would succeed him, just like he said up above that. People have to wait 100 years or so after their own funerals to receive recognition for their labor. He's now getting this recognition and has been since this his books have come out. That's just wild to me.
Yeah, yeah. And then I was gonna also say, dang, I lost my train of thought. Well, goodness, I lose it that quick. It just came and went. But thank you.
Well,
I was like, thank you so much for that takeaway, Miss Tiny. But
while you
yeah,
gaining your thought,
yeah.
I was gonna say, that's why I love this book club, because you learn something. You learn something, every day from this book club, whether it's, a fun fact, whether it's, something that we can utilize in our life, and then spread that knowledge to other people.
Mhm.
Now I have the knowledge of John D. Rockefeller wife is actually named, or the college is named after her.
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
So
Thank you so much.
what I was gonna say was that it's just cool. He didn't. Carnegie didn't just send him out there. He also gave him like an introduction to all these people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
he was well known, and everybody know him, and they respect him, and his word is his bond, and whatever he say goes type of deal. Like I said, he was talking to presidents, giving them money and making them write letters to tell him why he need to get his money. So he gave a ultimate cosign where he can go talk to anybody. If you can't make no money from that by meeting all these people, he put you in the room. So it's one thing to get put in the room, but what are you going to do to stay in the room? What value can you bring
Right.
to these people that you're meeting? So I thought that was pretty cool of him too. So
Yeah, 100%. I was thinking the same thing. I see we got a couple hands. Go ahead, Lisa is in the building.
Hello, family. I just like when Miss Tony said that. I said, I need to get on my research team. I like people who do research because maybe find out stuff. People understand that part. And I jumped in late, but sis said, pretty much that it took you 20 years to pretty much understand your business. And this is the principle that I'll be telling people. I know everybody want to get rich quick. But if you want to get rich quick, you're going to also get broke quick. You have to learn how to manage the money. You have to learn what the job is. I tell my mentees all the time, if you have a problem and you give it to somebody and they solve it, if you give it to your employee and they solve it, they know the solution. But if your employee leaves, you are still now stuck with the problem because now you don't know the solution. So before you give any task to anybody, you should at least have one solution and allow them to create multiple solutions. So I'm a big advocate that if you're getting into business, this should either be a life journey for you or you should have an exit plan soon as you start, period. If you don't have neither one of those, you need to just not get into business. It's okay because we will employ you in one of our companies. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's it. Love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Elisa, for that. I mean, hey, very profound. I see Mr.
Somebody gotta be
Owen.
the worker.
Somebody, yeah. I mean, you know,
Can't be the boss.
and some people don't want to be the boss.
Mm.
They want to wait. It's okay. Mr. Owen, go ahead.
Yeah, Miss Tani, big facts about that. That was something astonishing. But when you're a benefactor of the magnitude to donate to our institution like Spelman, you deserve to have your name be the name of the college. So, respect. Some small things got my attention first, guys. Page 7, just the expressions, like that second to last paragraph that started resolving to turn my attention, and it ends like when it says, the end of which I was seized by a violent dislike for my job and resigned. I just, as a poet, I kind of like the way that colorful use of the word of being seized, so to speak. There's another time when he said shy. He used the word shy. Can you guys ever find that where he says something about his friends were not shy to tell him, where it is said, or backward. I also use that word backward in a different kind of way. And I'm thinking that it's a matter of the timing where that word like that was used to mean something much different now in this context. But my biggest takeaway for just before I get done here has to do with two things. I am trying to, before we get too deep into the book, have a sense of what he means by the other self. Because the other self clearly will be the defining moment or defining trait or awareness or epiphany that say, aha, that is what I need to do as my life's journey. This is my life's purpose. This is what I need to do. So that other self, that intuitive voice that we don't always listen to, get so quiet, is what really intrigues me. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. But on the matter of the job hopping that this guy was doing, Napoleon Hill, some of those jobs were good money. They were good money. He admitted to that. But what? He was a restless spirit. He just did not feel at home in them. So it wasn't that he was making money while he was pursuing the long-term goal of compiling this book of success versus failure. But the fact that he was so restless, he could not stay. And he has all the excuse like, disagreements with his associate. That's not the real reason. There was no peace in those jobs. So he had to go. But by the way, Mr. HighLife, thank you for getting this book on the list, man. I didn't think it would be this good, but I'm really having a lifetime of a moment experience here reading this book. So kudos to you.
Yeah, my boy was on a journey, wasn't he? My boy was on a journey, and he was gonna figure it out one way or the other. And that's how I feel when it comes to my life as well. Like, we on the journey, and we're gonna all have that one day where we have that aha moment. Like, I think I got I'm gonna say one of my aha moments came when I picked up the camera. And I was like, I was attempting I wanted to be a rapper back in the days. And then I picked up that camera because we needed a video. And once I picked up the camera, I was like, I don't really want to rap no more. You rap, I'll film. How about that? Aha.
Hey guys, I found where I was looking for. It was on page 10, that last paragraph. It says, many times previously, I had found money to be rather shy. That was interesting way to use the word shy. In other words, hey, money won't come in, it's shy from me. That's a very interesting way to use the word shy. And on top of that page where it says, I was crazy, and they were not backward about saying so. I mean, it really meant that they were not afraid to tell him, but it used the word backward instead. And I found it very interesting in terms of the change in the meaning of language or words over that many years. That's a little trivia.
For sure. I love the way you think, Mr. Owen. Like, that's why I know you're gonna love this book. I know it, because this book will definitely get you thinking. We even got to the part about the devil yet.
Yeah.
He just tell you how it is right now and what he's been going through, and you know why this even come to it. And like you said, he had 17 principles of personal achievement, but he didn't know how to use none of them. But he had them. He done interviewed the people, but he's still trying to figure it out. And I was like, that's just dope of him to even say that, to admit that. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready. I'm so ready for this one. So this has been an amazing read. I want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. We didn't get on Facebook today, but we're definitely going to post this on Facebook later.
Yeah.
This is our first time on YouTube, so I'm super excited. I want to see how this is going to go. And our word of
maybe we could see, you know, if we could stream on all platforms. We're gonna connect
fancy
with Elisa, and Elisa gonna show us.
Look, she ready. Look,
you know, Elisa.
Okay. So this is for everybody up here. I just learned today, StreamYard literally streams on Instagram now. Instagram finally gave them access where you put in the stream key, and now I stream on all platforms, y'all. StreamYard, you got to get StreamYard. I promise you, it is a game changer. It makes anybody look like a professional, and it's cheap.
This message is brought to you by StreamYard.
They're gonna sponsor me. You better believe that. I'm gonna get some sponsors.
So glad that you said that, Elisa, because Mr. Owens actually been working on starting his podcast as well, and I've been telling them, you know, StreamYard is one of the platforms that's really good. We use Zoom because Zoom gives everyone access to get on here and to actually interact. With StreamYard, I think it's limited on how many people you can actually have, you know, on the that you can stream. Yeah. So, but
with StreamYard, not to cut you off, sis, if you get a regular account, I think it's up to 10, but you can get a corporate account, and on a corporate account, you can hold up to about 20, 30 people. So it's different account levels, but you can hold up to 10, but the video quality is crazy. It's so beautiful. I'm telling you.
So we may have to convert. But with that being said, you was about to say something, Mr. Owen. I want to make sure.
Thank you for remembering me in your life of being so busy that I'm still on your radar about my podcast. Mr. HighLife is laughing there because I didn't think you'd remember that we talk about this. So I appreciate it. I really do.
Of course, yeah, we got to get it started because I mean, there are so many people in the world that actually want to hear whatever it is that you want to talk about.
Respect that.
So, yeah. You got a lot of knowledge, so let's get it out to the world.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so
word of the day.
Word of the day is pittance. All right, so make sure you guys get creative with your sentences and put it in the group. But with that being said,
and Facebook, by the way. So if you're on YouTube, you're watching this. Facebook private group, Higher Learning HighLife Book Club, Higher Learning HighLife Book Club, and we'll be putting the link below.
Do something today that your future self will thank you for. And please don't forget to
put some respect on your mind.